Hi fans, it's Michelle Joy Phelps, and I'm joined now with the one and only Mikey Garcia. Mikey, it's good to see you.
I'm good, thank you. It's been a while, but I'm back.
It's been forever. I honestly think the last time I did an interview with you was at the Fox red carpet event.
Possibly. I mean, I know it's been a long time, and I also have been kind of absent. So it's I don't know when, but it's been a long time. But we're happy to be back. It's, little by little getting back in the rhythm of things, and I'm excited. Hopefully, we get something big coming up, and I'm just ready to get back in it.
So we're all wondering what the status is, obviously, between you and Manny Pacquiao. Do you have anything new?
I mean, there's been a lot of talks, a lot of conversations, a lot of going back and forth. It's not easy to get a fight done. We have been in conversations and discussions, with Team Pacquiao. But it's not just what he and I want. It's also a lot of other people involved, and that's what sometimes keeps the fight from getting done right away. But, I mean, I'm still there. I'm still trying to see if we can, secure a fight with Manny. That'd be an awesome fight for me. I think the fans would really enjoy that. I think the fans, would really want to see a fight like that, and I hope we can get it done.
Obviously, you don't want to sit out too long. It's already been a while. People want to see you back in the ring. You have many options. It's not like you don't. But obviously, the big fight would be against Manny Pacquiao. At what point would you consider it being, I've waited long enough and it's time to move on?
I'm trying to see if we can still find something to do with Manny. If that's not the case within, the next few weeks, next month at the most, if that's not the case, then I'll definitely move on and look for something else. You're right, I do have other options. I have many of opportunities with different options, different opponents. So I'm not stuck on Manny. I've never really chased one fight. This happened to be something that we had already talked about since last year. We were pretty much locked in last year before this whole pandemic had really disrupted everything. And now that things are moving forward, we're trying to see if we can get it done just like we were last year. It's not quite as easy this year. But if it doesn't happen, like I said, I'll just move on. I told my brother the same thing. It's only a matter of weeks, a couple of weeks, and I'll figure it out. I'll find out if it's going to happen or not. And if it doesn't, so what? Let's go and move on. Let's fight some other guys.
Right, because we're still hearing that there's the possibility of Terence with Manny. I know that McGregor's name's been thrown around. I know at one point I think Manny Pacquiao even said it was a done deal, which it didn't end up being a done deal. So who is Plan B if that's the case?
I mean, I'll fight anybody else. I'll fight anybody else at 147. I want to stay at 147. There's other names that are attractive enough for the fans. Not only for me. I want to make sure that the fans are excited for the fight. Because I can also take on, other fighters that ain't gonna excite the fans. That's not gonna excite me either. So I want to have a fight that the fans want to see, and obviously they know who the top contenders, top names at 147 are, and those are the names that I would go after.
Is there a specific angle you want to move towards, though, like a specific title if it's not Manny?
A few 2 years ago, they had mentioned a possible fight with Danny Garcia. He recently just announced that he's gonna go up to 154. Spence has talked about possibly moving up to 154 as well, and searching bigger names, like even the Canelo fight. So I know some of those names might not be there when I'm ready, but there's still other names there, like the Shawn Porter, Terence Crawford still available there with holding the WBO. If the two titles that Spence holds become vacant, then maybe I can fight somebody else like a Shawn Porter to secure one of those title fights. Yordenis Ugas, who's holding WBA title, he might still be available. So there's still, names that are ready and available for me to, face. I think any of those fights, I think the fans would really appreciate.
Do you think that 147 is going to be the max weight for you, or do you think that at some point, as you age, that you might be able to get to 154?
I think that's probably my max. I don't think 147. I know for a fact 147 is not my ideal weight, and I'm here.
Robert was saying he was hoping you would go to 140, but we're sort of waiting on what's happening between the winner of Ramirez and Taylor.
And that's also one of the reasons why I'm still at 47. Ramirez having two titles at 40, and Taylor having the other two titles at 40 leaves no room for me at 140, really. You know, so until that gets cleared up and maybe Ramirez decides to move up and some of the titles are vacant or something like that happens, then at that point maybe I'll make the decision to come back down to 140. But in the meantime, there's nothing at 140, right now. So why would I fight at 140 if there's no real, titles available or big fights? And then that's why I'm deciding, I've decided to stay at 147 for the time being.
Teofimo said that he's considering moving up, especially if he can potentially get the winner of Taylor or Ramirez. Regardless, if he moved up, would that be a fight you'd be willing to make at 140?
Look, I'm interested in any name like that. Lopez, they mentioned Haney, they've mentioned, all these other guys. I'm willing to fight anybody, and I'm available. I mean, they just gotta sit down and talk to me and make it happen. I don't ever say no to anybody. If Lopez is moving up to 40 and maybe at that point a title is vacant available, or maybe he picks it up and then I can come and challenge him, or maybe I picked it up and he comes and challenges me. Those are the fights that people would love to see. So I definitely entertain an offer like that.
Would you at any point consider or would want to try to avenge your one loss?
I would actually want that. I know it's going to take another fight or two to really earn my rematch. I can't just start calling for a rematch right now. It makes no sense. People would not, buy into that. And I honestly don't feel like I'm in a place to be calling for a rematch when I haven't really earned it, So I need a good, victory or two to position myself in order to be worth of challenging, Spence one more time and try to avenge that loss. In the meantime, right now, I'm trying to figure out what big fight can help me get there. Like I said, we're talking about Manny Pacquiao. If that was available, then that, a victory over Manny would definitely put me in that position. Is it going to happen with Manny? I don't know. So there's no reason for me to start calling for a rematch yet. But if the right fight is taken and I win and I'm in a position to be, challenging or calling out for a rematch, then at that point, yes, I would definitely do it.
Who wins for you if Terence and Errol were to fight?
That's a very tough fight. Both of them are very talented fighters. We've talked about that several times, and sometimes I lean towards one side, sometimes I lean towards the other. I mean, we see one of them fight, and he's like, damn, this guy probably wins. But then we see the other one fight, and it's like, oh, this guy probably wins. So it's a very close fight. I think it's a toss-up. If I were to have to pick someone right now, I'd probably lean more towards Terence Crawford right now. I know Errol Spence is a big dude and he's strong and he's a very, very great fighter. But I am feeling like maybe that after the accident, maybe he might not be quite as comfortable or as confident. But that might also have been just because it was his first fight back. So let's see how he does in another fight or two. He still did very well against Danny. But I was just feeling like maybe Crawford would be the one to have a little more of an edge right now.
Right.
Yeah.
Vergil Ortiz now moving one step closer to that WBO world title. Do you think that he needs a few fights before he faces Terence Crawford, or would you like to see him go in and take the opportunity?
Look, I think it's not that he's going to learn so much more whether he takes 2 or 3 or 4 more fights. The only thing that he's going to do is show everybody that he's ready. But he is already ready because he's got the skills to do it. He may not have had the experience like everybody expects someone to have, but experience isn't always that important. When I challenged Orlando Salido, he was the man at 126. He had already fought some of the best fighters at the division, from Lopez to Marquez to Gamboa and all these guys, right? When I was facing him, that was my first big shot. Like, I had not faced any champion like that. A lot of people thought my lack of experience was going to be the factor to have Salido win the fight. And that was obviously not the case. The skills were there, and that's why I was able to win. Vergil has the skills to do it. He's got the strength. First of all, he's very strong, naturally, big and strong. Whereas Crawford has moved up in weight, even though he has matured over the years, and he's tall and he can definitely carry the 147, without a problem. I still think the power difference will be there. It'll be on Vergil's favor because the power is different. Crawford has skills and tall, and he can use the reach, southpaw, right hand. So angles like that will try to complicate things for Vergil. But Vergil is actually very good when it comes to cutting off the ring and getting on the inside. So 2 or 3 more fights really ain't gonna do a whole lot more, to teach him anything else, except maybe give him a little more confidence or a little more experience, But that's, like I said, if they do it right now, I think he's ready right now. It might not happen right away. It might happen in another fight or two. That's just the way boxing, politics, and promotion and networks, and it's a little difficult getting 2 fights, getting 2 fighters fighting like that. You got one with one promoter, one with a different promoter. You got
know better than anyone.
You got one with a network. We got one with a different network, and working together, it's very complicated. So it may not happen right away, but I think he's ready to do it if it was available.
Would you ever, or does a fight with Lomachenko still intrigue you at all?
If he was to move up to 140, maybe. I know he's probably not going to do that. He's a lightweight, and he's not probably. I haven't heard anything of him trying to move up in weight. And in the meantime, I'm still at 47. So until I come down to 40, and if he was still at 35, and it became available at 140, then possibly. He lost to Lopez, but he didn't get blown out of the water. I thought it was a very good fight. He closed the gap towards the later part of the fight. He did very well. I think if he were to fight a rematch, he probably could actually win a rematch. He started a little slow this first fight, so I don't see that like the stock went down so much. It happens in boxing.
Do you think it was a mistake for him to not make sure that there was a rematch clause in place? Because now Teofimo is just like, I'm not interested in a rematch.
I don't know. I don't know if he didn't think about that, or maybe that was something that they discussed, and maybe Lopez didn't agree to it. I don't know. I don't know what details were in the agreement or not. But even if there is no rematch clause, he can still earn his shot again if he wins 1 or 2 good fights, and he's back in line.
Exactly. Before we wrap this up, because I know you got to start training, what is your prediction for Ramirez and Taylor?
Oh, well, we've been working with Ramirez, plenty. And I have my confidence and belief in Ramirez. I worked with him before. I sparred with him a couple times. And similar in ways to Vergil, where there's no holding back. There's no giving up. That heart, the strength is there. He's very strong.
I just saw him on the back. I was like, holy shit.
Very strong. I haven't seen Taylor up close like that. I haven't sparred with Taylor, but I know personally what it is to spar Ramirez, and like I said, the strength I think will be the difference there. The relentless aggression and power that Ramirez has, it's very impressive. I'm sparring him, and I'm trying to box, but every punch that you even block, you feel the power. So it's only a matter of time before that starts to wear and wear you down. So I believe Ramirez actually stops Taylor in the later rounds, maybe like 9th, 10th round. That's my prediction. That's my thought.
All right. Well, another great unification fight. Oh, you know what? Another one supposed to be announced. If you wouldn't mind just giving me your prediction, is Fury versus Joshua.
That's a very good fight. I think my nephew or Robert might disagree because we've had different conversations, but I'm picking Fury. I think his style may not be the most polished. I think Joshua has a little more polished, a little more traditional boxer style, but I don't think he has the necessary tools to overcome the awkwardness and the weirdness of Fury. Fury does it well. He may not be the most refined, polished fighter, but he does it well and he wins. He gets away with it. He can do it because of the size. And, he really impressed me when he fought Wilder on the rematch. He really impressed me on that one. So, at first, prior to the Wilder fight, I was picking Wilder. But then after that rematch, I was like, damn, fucking Fury really turned it up and showed everybody. So I would pick Fury on this AJ fight.
Isn't it exciting that we're seeing more undisputed fights this year?
And that's something that actually, boxing should have more. unfortunately, because of different promotions, different networks, and all these affiliations, sometimes it complicates things, and it doesn't let it, let the fights happen. But this is good. This is good because now fight fans can actually see one champion, and that's what the fans want to see more of. So I'm excited for that. I'm happy for this.
Me too. I'm so excited. We're just waiting for the official announcement, but we're hearing it's coming. So it'd be great for boxing for 2021 and the landscape of what's coming. So I really hope to see you in with Manny Pacquiao. I hope you get the fight that you want. But if not, and if it has to happen a different time, then so be it. But nonetheless, I wish you nothing but the best for 2021. But we need to see you back in.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I will be back. Definitely for sure.
All right. Thank you for your time. Bye, fight fans. Hey, fight fans. It's Michelle Joy Phelps. If you haven't already subscribed to our YouTube channel, make sure you do so by clicking this icon right here, or else.